friend and business.
What is happening, everybody? I'm here with Mike. Say hi. We are going to film an interview talking about stories. This is all about where Mike come from, who he is, what he's doing, what his passions are, why he has this crazy wall in the background. What is happening, everybody? You are here with Daniel Pretorius and Mike. You're watching Stories, and we are talking all about stories, and I covered that, didn't I? Anyway, Mike, thanks for being on the show with me.
Yeah, no worries.
I love your wall. Let's start with talking about your wall, and then we're going to talk about you. So,
yeah, sure.
Why this wall? Why crazy colors? Why all this stuff?
Colours have always been a part of my life. I've been an artist ever since I was a wee kid, so I think in the first grade was when we discovered I had an artistic bone in my body. And
just one bone.
Just one, but one's enough. And how it all started was I was teasing my little brother, and my mother was just like, that's it, go sit on the front lawn and you can draw the garden, and when you finish drawing the garden you can come back inside.
Yeah.
And so I drew the garden, and she didn't believe that I had drawn it, and she had thought that I got the neighbour to draw it for me.
Yeah.
And so she made me do it twice. And then the second time she was like, okay, I think you've got talent, or you've got something going on. So that's how we learned that I was an artist, and I've been using colour my whole life to express myself, and to, I guess, release a lot of internal emotions and things that were going on as well. So during my younger years through to my teenage years and into my adult life, I've always been painting and creating and doing a lot of things like that. I'd even run tie-dyeing workshops with family once. That was really fun. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Really fun. So yeah, color has just always been ever present, and it's something that I innately just have been drawn to throughout my life. And recently I decided to look further into color and to see why it does what it does and what it is. And color is one of those mysterious things in the world. Like, you can't explain color to a blind person. There's no way to describe the color red or blue or yellow. It's impossible. You can't do it.
That's right.
So, but it does have effects on people who see it. So, you know, I went and started exploring the psychology of color, what it does for people.
That's recently?
Recently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
we'll get back into that.
So let's. Did you want to? Sorry, I was leading up to the wall.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Like it kind of gives me a background on the wall, and I think it's very related to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So we'll cover that.
Sweet.
Back. So cool, because I didn't really expect it to be so in depth.
There's always a story.
That's right. Okay. Cool. We don't have all day, but we have some time. So tell me, where were you born? Were you brought up in Brisbane, or where was your family based?
Yeah, cool. I was actually born in Liverpool, New South Wales.
Okay.
And then we had pretty much lived a gypsy life. So we went from Liverpool to Penrith to Mary something. I can't remember the name of that town. St. Mary's, I think it was. And then we moved to Sackville. And then we moved to Callangor, which is near Nambour. On the same road, they've got this thing called the Big Cow. Yeah. It's like the big pineapple and the big prawn.
The big pineapple that was stolen?
Yeah, I don't know, but not that one. But yeah, it was, like...
Or was it the mango that got stolen? Do you know that one of them got stolen?
No.
Woke up one day, I don't even know if it was found. Let me know if it's found, because I know that it was stolen the one evening and it just disappeared, and I'm not sure if it was the pineapple or the mango. It could have been the pineapple. But yeah, crazy. Just
just
gone. And I don't know if it's been replaced or found or what the story is, but it like kind of just went under the radar. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, like we moved around a lot, and then eventually we ended up in a mountain town called Budrum on the Sunshine Coast, and I liked living on the mountain. It was serene. It was surrounded by rainforest, but there wasn't enough stimulus for me as a kid. Like, it was very secluded. So I learned to just be like, oh god, I need to get out of this place. I need to get out of the Sunshine Coast. I absolutely hated it after a while. And then I ended up moving to Brisbane after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's pretty much where I had lived growing up to where I am now.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like when it comes to, I guess, business related? Did you do anything business related as a kid? Because you only recently got involved with business.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, bit touch and go. What had happened when I was in high school, and I had started selling a lot of the art pieces I was working on during high school.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a bid for one of my pieces, and it was a really high bid. Well, I thought it was a high bid at the time. Just, I think it was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
And I had no idea, because some of my pieces had gone to different exhibitions, and so people were seeing them, and I didn't even know that. The school had just organised that for me. So, but anyway, yeah, like I had started selling art at a very young age, so that was part of me learning about business and selling, and family, friends buying my stuff. I've sold some stuff overseas as well. I've done a lot of tattoo drawings for people and sold them.
Yeah.
So I often get people come back to me and go, hey, I've had one of your pieces tattooed. I'm like, that's cool.
Do you want me to sign it?
Yeah. Yeah, but when I left school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. I thought because art was just an expression, it couldn't be a business for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that was social or parental or some sort of belief I had at the time that I couldn't pursue it, but I put that to the side and decided to learn business. So I went and did door-to-door sales for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Okay, before we get into that, so your childhood was like, you moved around quite a bit. At what stage and where were you when you got into this art thing that you're talking about? How old were you when you first discovered it, and then when you really took it on, doing it seriously, and how did that look?
Okay, yeah. So, like as I said, when I first took it on, I was young, and then I kind of put it in the side basket, thinking that maybe it's not something that I can pursue professionally. And then I came back to it recently. Because I had decided again I needed to express myself, because I was having a lot of things that weren't, I wasn't able to express verbally or any other way. And then I started posting that up on Instagram. And people were just like, oh my god, can I buy your stuff? You know? So it kind of got me back into getting into more about the business side of things as well, into it.
So how much, like that piece that was sold or bidded in high school when you were 17, what was the price of that?
They spent their entire school budget on it, and it wasn't just that, it was everything that I had made that year. And I remember the high bid that I had for it was either $400 or $550, but that was just a single piece. And for someone who's 17 or 18, you're like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. And the school had approached me and said, hey, we know you've had a really big offer for this, but we don't have that kind of money in our budget. But we do have, I think it was 350 is what they had. And I wrestled with that for a while, because I was like, give it to one person or give it to many. And that was ultimately like, okay, well, I'll give it to the school. If they're like honestly going to be spending everything they have on it, then yeah, it's going to them. So I said no to the big buyer and gave it to the school instead. Yeah.
So what was your first job when you were in school, out of school?
My first job was a removalist.
Okay, how old were you?
I would have been 15 or 16, I think, at the time. So it was during high school, and that was for a family friend. Yeah.
On weekends, lugging little houses.
Yeah.
From one place to another place,
Definitely.
Cool. So when you graduated school, did you go study or did you?
I went straight into
Sales.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that sales job?
It was for a can't even remember the name of it. So long ago, but it was basically a sales job where you grab a bunch of stuff and you go from business to business, and you're just selling stuff out of a bag.
Yeah, great.
And I think that taught me more about business than any school could have ever taught. Because when you're going face to face, you're learning about people, you're learning about how to sell ice to Eskimos, you're learning body language, you're learning how to run sales teams. It was so encompassing, and at the time, even though it was very challenging and very joyful, it was something that I'll treasure forever because it taught me so much about business.
So how long did you do that for?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. What was your biggest struggle in that? Like, what was the hardest moment you're like, this is the one time it was like?
I think the hardest moment for me was learning to let go, because I knew deep down it wasn't for me, that I had joined up to that business mostly because I loved the people there, and I enjoyed the relationships and building really cool friendships, and one of my best friends who has become like a brother to me, you know, was through that business. And when he left, that kind of was like, oh, like part of me is leaving, and I don't think I want to be here anymore. And
I think people in a work environment really changes what it's like. I remember a guy when I worked at Pizza Hut, and he graduated high school, and because he finished school, and you know, so many people get depressed after they finish school because it's like, well, what am I doing with my life? I feel like I suck. Anyway, he got so depressed. I tell you what, that workplace was the worst place to work because of that one person.
That's right.
Because he was the life of the place, and now he finished school and it became more depressing. It was hard, man. It was hard for the rest of us because of that one person. It's like he died. You know, even though he was still there. So
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was in that 2.5 years, what was the biggest success that you had? Whether it was sales, relationships, whatever it was, you know?
Yeah, like I'd won a few sales awards, a few leadership awards, and they made me feel amazing. I think the biggest success that I achieved or still value today are the connections, and just, I guess, the sales systems in there that I learned was something that are very valuable to me, and something that I like teaching to people still, because that's what I was doing back then as well. And I guess, my biggest achievement though, there was so many, and it was so long ago. It was a really long time ago, but I think everything, just getting through it was an achievement in itself. I think.
Sometimes it's like that, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. Because you know, you go, when you doing anything, there's going to be ups and downs, and if you can get through those hard times, they definitely teach you a lot more. So definitely a big achievement just getting through it, I would say.
So when you left this place, did you leave the place and find something else, or did you find something else before you left?
No.
And what was that?
I had just quit.
Okay, so you quit, and then what was next on the plate?
Yeah, so I had just quit and I was thinking to myself, okay, I've got like I think I had like 6 weeks worth of enough to get me through for 6 weeks. So I was like, okay, what can I do now? And I remember just chilling out for a bit, and then money started getting tight. I had to go to cash converters and start selling stuff to pay rent. And yeah, it was just like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? So I just started going through the papers. I started going to employment agencies because I knew that I didn't want to go back to that kind of working environment.
Yeah.
And I just found a job at a place called Watchworks, and it's kind of like a Mr. Minute where you repair watches and fix shoes and things like that. And so they hired me, and I ended up staying there for about 5 or 6 years after that. And that was fun because I got to engrave jewelry, and I got to express myself artistically there. So that was a bonus.
Cool.
Doing that. Yeah.
So when because you put all the art stuff to a side, when did that come alive again? When did you start getting involved in that stuff?
Yeah, so it wasn't until this...
So it's just really recently.
Yeah, it would have been very recently.
If it's really recently, it wasn't when you were at Mr. Minute, whatever watch person thing.
No.
Did you do another job after that?
No. Yes, but even during that time, I would always be drawing or sketching or doing stuff in my spare time. Even in my extracurricular activities away from work and, you know, working out with friends and stuff, I always had my sketchbook with me. So it was always ever present with me doing that. But yeah, it was recently, and I think it was probably last year, towards the end of last year was when I was like, I think I should really take this more seriously again, because it's just part of me, and may as well do it.
Cool. So tell me your I guess you decided to take it more seriously. What are you doing now with that, and when did you start doing your business?
Okay, so recently in the past year or so, I had started expressing myself more openly. I suppose I had, and I started working with a lot of different mediums as well. I even started teaching some art classes as well, because I wanted to kind of take what I knew to the next level as well, because I was getting frustrated working full time and going, you know, this isn't for me. I need to do something for myself. And there's always like a lot of temporary failure when you're trying to walk on your own. And so I started teaching people, and that was fun, and people were giving me really good feedback saying they really enjoyed it and they learned a lot, which is ultimately what I love hearing from people that I'm teaching.
What were you teaching them?
I was teaching art classes.
So I was teaching general art classes?
I was teaching them how to draw and how to understand color and basically how so they can paint and draw and do whatever they want in their own way. So just teaching them the fundamentals of art. So that's what I was teaching people, and that was going okay, and it was fun, but my heart wasn't in it. Like, there wasn't like that ignited, this is what I want to do. And so that was the first thing that kind of went, don't. I thought I'd like it, but now that I've tried it, I don't like it. And
which is the best way to find out if you don't like something.
Yeah, totally, exactly. And then what did I do after that? Then I started like really painting, really getting into expressing myself again, and that's when I started getting noticed more as an artist, and people were like, hey, oh my god, I love your stuff, blah blah blah. That's when I started getting my international sales as well. And then again, it was, it's not I'm doing it because I love it, I'm doing it because I just want to express myself. This is just me going out onto a canvas so people can see what I'm feeling, and then maybe they can interpret things their own way. And so again, that was another thing that I was like, I still do it and I'll never stop painting, but it's not as much as a business for me as what I'm doing now, which I am really excited about, and I am taking seriously, and I know what I'm doing is amazing because people are constantly coming up to me going, oh my god, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me. And so yeah, I can talk to you more about what I'm doing now if you want to, if you like, or...
I would, because I have no idea.
Okay, great.
That's why I love these interviews, because most of the time I rock up and I have no idea about like half the stuff. I just know there's something happening, and So tell me, you started looking into colors. What is your business? What are you doing? And what the heck?
Yes. Okay. So the I guess how can I put this into a nutshell? English usually helps. Yes. So I had recently started getting business mentoring because I was like, okay, I need to know how to do business properly. I'd like to be very successful at what I do.
Yeah.
And I had this vision that I wanted to bring color into workplaces, into people's homes, into their lives to help make them feel good. And it started from where I'm working now at the moment, because I had spoken to my boss, and I approached him and said, hey, I think we can really use some color in this place. I've spoken to a lot of people and they all agree. And what do you think if maybe we can get some art installed or some murals painted on the walls? Because, you know, quite frankly, it's a bit boring in here. And his initial response was like, nah, not interested. And so I said, look, people really want this. And he's like, all right, you've got your foot in the door, go research, go ask them, then come back to me. And so I sent a survey nationwide across Australia, and I got a ton of responses back, positive responses, which was really exciting. And in doing so, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of exploring why color is so important to be in a business and why it's so important to have in your life, and what it can do to impact you emotionally. And through that, I had started guest speaking and talking publicly about color and what it does. And then from that, people were like, can you help me? Can you talk to me about colors? Can you help me? I would like your help with colors that I can use. So I started doing color consultations for people, where I would sit down with people and we'd go through, I think it's nearly 20 different colors, and I would get their initial thoughts on each color or their emotional response, kind of like the Rorschach test, when they go, you know, what do you think this is? But here's a color, what are your thoughts? And so I'd be taking notes as we're going through all these different colors and things, and by the end of going through it all, I'd have this, you know, 2 pages worth of information for every individual, and through that information I can go, okay, well, these are the colors that we know you like and the colors that are actually going to support you emotionally, because you said this about the color. These colors link up together. So like if you want, like a client that I had a few days ago, she had said, you know, this color reminds me of freedom, it reminds me, and then another color was like, oh, this color makes me feel really free. And so I was like, okay, cool. And there were like definitely things that were correlating in different colors. So I would pick those colors out and go, okay, this palette says freedom to you. And then they look at it and go, oh my God, it totally does. And so it came like, and because it feels so natural for me and so easy for me to do that for people, it's something that I really enjoy doing as well, but it's also helping people as well, which I'm really all about. And I found what I call support colors, and they are colors that can emotionally support you, and you set them up in places either in your clothing or in your brand. So like I've helped businesses rebrand to get their colors right, and
for who they are.
Because like if you're in a business and you want to stand out and you want to show people who you are, it's really important to stand out, especially if there are other people and other businesses doing the same thing you're doing. You've got to be able to stand out on your own and look different and look exciting to someone and to a potential client.
Right. Yeah.
Because color, I discovered, is the silent ambassador of who you are. And people say don't judge a book by its cover, but when it comes to color, people make instant judgment.
People say don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does. So create a good cover. That's what I reckon. So
exactly.
Like at the end of the day, you can't just turn around and say, well, you just shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's like, well, I do. So
yeah,
you know,
it's the same like when you go through a shopping center. You might have two different shops opposite each other that sell exactly the same product.
Yeah.
But based on the color choices that you're using, one might look really inviting because of the way that it's using its color, and the other might not feel so inviting. Maybe it's more like, who knows, but the way it's set up and the colors that they use, you're more likely going to go to the one that feels more inviting to you. So, and that's a subconscious thing. They're selling the same thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So color does the same thing as well. You can either push people away with it, or you can bring people towards you with it as well. You can make yourself feel good, or you can make yourself feel bad. And it's all about finding out what colors you need to support you. And not only that, I found out too that when working with my clients, that they have colors that they don't like, or combinations of colors that they don't like. And when we discuss why that might be, or they have a think and then they come back and say, oh, I think I know why I don't like these colors, it opens them up to experiences in their past that they need to work on emotionally as well. So it's kind of like your sense of smell.
It's like therapy.
It is.
Color therapy.
Definitely. And what I was doing, and another thing I was doing before all of this, was I was life coaching people. And I still do that occasionally, but I can use what I learned through self-development to help people with color as well, emotionally too. So I get to blend two things I'm very passionate about together.
Cool.
And create a business that I just love.
So what is your business? What is your product? What is your service that you what is your service, your product?
So what my product is it's a product that helps you increase your mood, your happiness, your productivity, and your creativity in all aspects of your life. So if you like dealing with stress and anxiety, I help you choose the colors that can help support your mood to make it not so stressful in the environment you're in. Because sometimes when you're in an environment that is oversaturated, or you've been in an environment too long and it feels like stuff's just getting to you, usually it's because you just need a breath of fresh air and you need a change.
Go to the ocean.
Exactly. So, you know,
lots of blue water.
Yeah, totally.
That's right.
So like, as you're saying, you know, if blue water makes you feel good, feel calm, and gives you that sense of change, then why not bring that somewhere where you can experience that every day? Or bring it to a space where you can get that sense of feeling when you need it. So
talking about blue quickly. Instagram, the #1 color filter images that has the highest interaction has blue in it. Always.
And that's because blue universally is the world's most favorite color. Even between men and women, I think it's something like 68. It's a big percentage. Huge percentage of people prefer blue, and there are theories to why people prefer blue, and it's because it could be, like one that I've heard is because it often relates to the sky and the ocean, because it's ever present.
And it's the same with green. Like green is also a very popular color.
Green.
Because
it's very natural, and it's always there. It's very trustworthy, and it's never going away. It's always going to be there. So people have that strong connection to blue because they're surrounded by it.
So your product, your service is a one-on-one service, online, face-to-face. How does that work?
So helping people emotionally with their own finding out more about themselves. Ultimately, is what I do is I help people discover more about themselves. And if you're in business or a business owner, I help you get your brand colors right the first time, so that when you do take them, or you do go somewhere to get your logo done, or your web page designed or something, you're not at the mercy of someone else going, well, I think you should choose these colors. These colors look good. It's like choosing a couch for your house and then deciding 10 weeks later you don't like it. It's because you didn't choose the color right the first time. So that's what I offer to people, is like, we get down to the colors you like, the colors that work for you. We help you understand why they work for you, so that you have confidence in your choices as well. And it is one-on-one that I'm doing. I do face-to-face consultations if you're in the Brisbane area, but I do consultations over Zoom or Skype. Is like, I've helped people in New Zealand, Western Australia, Melbourne so far. So it doesn't matter where you are, if you've got a strong internet connection and a mobile
good luck for
phone.
anyone in the Redlands.
Yeah, sorry, Redlands. But
shocking. No, cool.
Yeah,
so I know that you started a group. We're just gonna wrap up. We got a couple more minutes. So you've started a group. Tell me about the group, and then tell us how people can find you and get in contact with you.
Yeah, cool. So I've started 2 groups. The first group that I started most recently is called Creative Minds Creating Success, and that's a Facebook group, and that's designed to bring creative people who want to create success together. It doesn't matter what you think creativity is. If you think it's just for artists, it's not, because everyone's creative in their own way. So I really wanted to bring together a community of people who identify themselves as creative in some way, and we can work as a community to help each other and support each other to create the success that we all want. So that's the first group that I created, and that was not so much a personal thing, it was more about building a tribe of like-minded people who want and resonate with that same sort of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the second, it's not really a group, but my business page, if people want to find me directly, they can either find me, Mike Posadas, on my personal, or they can just look up Mike, the color guy.
The color guy.
And that's my business page.
That's great.
They're both on Facebook.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you're on Facebook and you're on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram.
You don't have a YouTube channel?
No.
Just find him on my channel. It's all good. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for having a chat with us and sharing your story and your journey and all that sort of stuff. It would be awesome to catch up in the future and see where you've gone, what you're doing. But for now, we've got to wrap up and we've got to say goodbye. So thanks, guys, for watching. Until next time, stay tuned. See you later. Bye.
Bye.